Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. I have filmed all the groups before I've done the intro, which is why the intro looks the way that it is. If you've been watching my recent videos, I've been showing my face more, and that's because I'm usually a lot more prepared than this. However, the past 2 weeks have been incredibly crazy for me, and I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of us have been going through things. Especially if you are keeping up with astrology, you know that a lot's been happening up there. And I don't know if knowing that stuff's happening up there has necessarily helped, but a lot has been happening down here as well. So I started filming this reading with a clear idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't know how many groups I would be able to do. So I did 2 intros, and I was very ambitious in my first intro. I thought I could do all these groups, and then life hit me pretty hard. And yeah, we've been going through a lot over here, a lot of loss. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've already been through a lot of loss. So as a reader, it's my responsibility to handle my own feelings so that I can accurately and fairly channel your energy. So in the process of being able to separate my own stuff from this collective energy, I've had to compromise, and I can only do 3 groups today. I hope that you come to this reading with a very specific connection in mind, or the specific idea of a connection if you haven't met this person yet. And examples of specific ideas can be future spouses, future friends, future colleagues, those sorts of things, where there is a concept there, even if you haven't met them yet. Doing that will help you find a group in this reading that you are going to have most of your clarity from. So take your time to set your intentions and to figure out why you're here and what you'd like to know. The reading that we're doing today is a relationship reading intended for platonic and romantic connections, and we're having a look at the next big change in this connection. There's an extended reading as well. I've got all of this information in the description box and the pinned comment. So if you need that clarity, if you want to read that instead of my handwriting or listening to me, feel free to do that. But essentially here on YouTube, we're going to be talking about your key challenges, your key opportunities, and we're going to get a better idea of what this next big change is for your connection. When I open your reading, I'm going to have a look at your current energies first to get an idea of where you're at now. This is also going to serve as confirmation for you, the viewer, to help you figure out, have I got the right group? Do I resonate with this? And then we're going to look at the future. I'm going to close your readings by getting advice from your angels, from your guardians, which are in the way of an affirmation that is channeled. So, for the pick a group portion of this reading, I've selected cards from the Archetypes Guidebook deck by Kim Krans. And each of the cards is very different, as you can see. Thank goodness. It's almost frustrating when they're a bit too similar. We have group 1 over here with the comic, which is also the number 26 in the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. Group 2 over here has the Maiden card, which is also the number 8. And group 3 has the Warrior card, which is the number 10. There's a lot of symbolism, a lot of shapes, a lot of colors. Take your time to select a group. The idea is you pick a group you feel most drawn to, or you use another wild, wonderful method to do that. There is a meditation clip that is playing after this. If you do need some help, that meditation is guided and it's aimed at connecting you to your intuition from a calm, rested place so that you can intuitively select a group. When you know where to go, check the timestamps and join me in your reading. To open your meditation, I'm going to ask you to take in 3 deep, mindful breaths. I want you to breathe in for 3 seconds and breathe out for 3 seconds. I will be guiding you through this. Make sure you're comfortable. Focus on the sound of my voice, and let's begin. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. Last breath. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. From this relaxed place, observe the groups in your mind. It can help if your eyes are closed. Is there a specific color you feel most drawn to right now? Perhaps it was a phrase I spoke about in the intro. Allow your relaxed mind to guide you to a group you are being most drawn to. Remember, your intuition is not a loud voice, but it is a strong voice, and it knows which of these groups contains the most honest messages for you. Allow it to guide you through symbols, colors, objects, and phrases that will connect you with the group that holds the most clear, honest messages for you. If you need more time, pause the video or repeat this meditation. Hi Group 1, and welcome to your reading. If you recognize the Maiden card, then you're in the right place. We're asking Spirit, what is the next big change in this connection? It is important that you came to this reading with a connection in mind, and we're going to hopefully get the answers that we need for you. I do recommend you set your intentions before I open your reading. I talk about this usually in the shuffling portion as well, where I choose a card for each group. But setting your intentions is all about connecting with me as your reader. Because this is a general reading, it can be a wonderful and powerful way of making sure that you're in the right group and of making sure that the messages that are being delivered are tailored for you in some way. An intention can also be looking for a sign. Maybe if you're used to consuming a lot of these readings, you need a sign or confirmation that this message is meant for you. You can think of an animal, a word, a color, anything essentially to confirm that this is your reading. Other ways you can set intentions is by focusing on key topics, key questions that you have when it comes to this connection. I'm going to go ahead and set my intentions as your reader now. So now would be the time to set yours if you are. Spirit, please tune me into Group 1's energy. Please help me offer Group 1 the most clear, honest messages for their reading today. Please help me to tune into their connection, to gain clarity and truth, so that Group 1 can feel informed and confident in being able to move forward for their best interest and for the highest possible outcome. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, this card is going to help us understand what the next big change in this connection is going to be. But before we get into that, I do want to have a look at your energies. I want to see where the two of you are at. So Spirit, as it stands, what is the energy in this connection? What is the energy in this connection, please, Spirit? I'm going to use the Telesma Tarot. What is the current energy in this connection, please, Spirit? Group 1, whoa. We have the 5 of coins, wow. And what is person A's current energy in this connection? Okay. 4 of Swords, what is person B's? We have the Lovers, So essentially, we're doing it person A, person B, just in case the energy is interchangeable. You may resonate with what I'm saying for person A, which means the other person in this connection will be person B, or vice versa. But let's have a look at the energy in your connection. The fives are important signs of change in a tarot reading. And with this card reversed, you've acknowledged that change needs to happen, but that isn't making it more comfortable. There is a feeling here of awkward change that either feels really sudden or change that doesn't seem to be organic. And for it to be the Five of Coins, these changes have to do with a sense of importance, a sense of meaning something in this connection through what you're receiving and what you're giving. Change needs to be made in order for the two of you to feel more comfortable in this connection. However, instead, you may be choosing to focus on your more material possessions as a way of gaining a sense of importance or focusing on stability because of this connection's awkward growing pains. It feels like with the Five of Coins reversed, we are trying to change the way that we've been doing things here because it has been monotonous, it has been repetitive. Look at these lines of traffic. It's felt like we're doing the same thing and we're building to the definition of insanity through repetitive actions that don't have favorable outcomes. What is it all for? I do think that this connection is currently redefining the foundation that it was created upon and the meaning that it has in each of your lives. What does this connection actually mean to person A? What does this connection mean to person B? And how does this connection fit into other responsibilities and the overall lifestyle? I think with the Five of Coins reversed, not only are you both aware of the fact that there needs to be change, but you're also feeling as though you don't have a firm grasp on how to transition this connection forward. And we see that in your energies. Let's start with person A here. Person A's current energy towards this connection is that they are slowly gaining confidence in communicating and acting towards this connection. Person A may have been in rest mode, recovering and healing from something physical or emotional. And I do think that with the Four of Swords reversed, person A isn't back to their usual bubbly, confident self. They're feeling their way through it, kind of like a rehabilitation process. After being still for so long, certain actions, certain words feel foreign to them. So they're having to slowly build a sense of familiarity. What this means is the changes that person A is experiencing in this connection is a change towards intention and action. Person A is having to rethink after being still for so long, what do I actually want to do here? What are my intentions? What do I actually want to follow through with? What promises am I making? What conversations am I having? Now, I do think that person A has been very different in their communication style. I think it's been noticed that person A's words have changed, or the amount that they usually contact person B has changed. I think that this is someone that, although they've had a lot of time to think, they still feel like they're not able to connect the dots. The process is still finishing. So with the Four of Swords reversed, I can definitely feel an awkwardness over here in person A's energy. They feel a little uncomfortable, out of their comfort zone for sure. Any of the fours reversed is an immediate feeling of instability. And the swords are talking about this person's confidence to act. So I do think that they're being careful. I'm even hearing the word tentative. So that could be a reference to the office. You know, some emails allow you to respond to events or meeting requests and you can say yes, no, or tentative. This person's in the gray. They're tentative when it comes to this connection and what they can do to move this connection forward. Now, if we have a look at person B's energy, we have more of the same sort of vibe going here. Both of these cards are a part of the air element in tarot, which tells me that both of these people are thinking with their heads, not their hearts. They're trying to be logical and they're trying to be pragmatic, like focused on the ideas and the situation in facts. Person B with the Lover's card reversed is definitely practicing some sort of conversation in their head. They're going over it, they're thinking about it, they're figuring it out, what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. And they're still not sure what they're going to say or when they're going to say it, but they have gained certainty around what they need to do. It's just a question of, well, how do I deliver this information, this news? Person B with the Lover's card reversed has been on a bit of a self-love journey where they've been trying to assess this connection through the lens of, is it best for me? Is it actually something that's going to be good for me? Does it fulfill my needs? Is this the kind of connection that I want in my life right now? And the lens is very centered on self. It's very much about, what can I gain from this? What do I need? Where is this going for me? And I think that's because of person A's either lack of action or just silence with the Four of Swords reversed. Because person A hasn't done much or anything quite dramatic, person B has had all of this time and room to think about themselves. And so I do see that you are both quite focused on yourselves. You're focused on yourselves because you are only really feeling reliant and dependable upon self. You both don't feel like you can 100% depend on the other person. And that may not be a bad thing. It just means that you want to take care of yourself first before you think about stepping towards this person or this connection for help. And so I do think that you've got quite a bit going on in your own lives that you aren't sharing with each other. I think there is a conscious choice to keep some things on the low, to keep some issues, challenges, or even good news private. You're not coming through as each other's main confidant. It feels as though you have other people that you can talk to more frequently to actually share this kind of information with. This connection either feels circumstantial or like it fits into some specific context. Like you and this person only really know each other because of work, or you only really hang out because they're a family member, or you're only really involved with each other because you had that one moment where you felt a strong chemistry towards them. But since then, or since that circumstance, it just feels like this connection has been in a gray area or in a very behind the scenes area. It doesn't feel like it's the main focus in your lives. Even though with person B, they have been thinking about it a lot. So that's what I'm picking up on in terms of your current energies. We're now going to have a look at what the next big change is in this connection. So let me shuffle these cards back in, and we're actually going to come back to that first card that I pulled for you from the Archetypes Oracle deck. So that first card, the Maiden, tells us a lot about this next big change. We can see with the Maiden, sweet souls, that your next big change in this connection has a lot to do with your connection to self. It has a lot to do with the journey that you've been on. And I think that you both in this connection have been really trying to strengthen a sense of self, strengthen how strongly confident you are in your identity, but also strengthen an awareness of your needs. Because from when you first or last spoke to this person, the last big event that happened in this connection to now, your needs and your priorities have definitely shifted. Since your last big event in this connection until now. And I'm seeing with the Maiden here that the next big change in this connection has to do with you both comfortably, confidently addressing your needs. And so I am going to ask Spirit what the key challenge and opportunity will be. But I want to know more about this big change first. So let's pull some more cards to clarify. I'm loving this tarot deck, so we're going to use it again. Spirit, what is the next big change in this connection, please? What is the next big change in this connection? What is the next big change? We have the Four of Swords. What is the next big change in this connection, please, Spirit? Whoops. Oh, thank you. So awkward shuffling this deck. The Queen of Swords. And at the back of the deck is the Four of Coins. Wow. Let's talk about the back of the deck first. This is interesting. What a strange change, because it's very similar to the start of your reading. We have a coins card, and then we have these two air cards. So the coins are earth-based elements, and it does connect to a lot of the themes or objects that we associate with earthly desires, earthly connections, like money, a career, public reputation, which includes your career reputation, which also includes your status in a society and what people think of you within that status or that class system. So a lot of these things that we don't take with us in our next life or when we pass, but that mean something to us or other people in this life. So with the Four of Coins, the next big change in this connection means something to other people, and it means something to us in a practical sense. There is a feeling here of stability, and we can see your Five of Coins turning into a 4, which is regression, but it may be what this connection needs. You're going from an unstable place of both feeling like you're not getting your needs met, where you've been just kind of in a gray area that hasn't been going anywhere, repeating some sort of cycle that wasn't changing. And you're turning from that into a feeling of stability and certainty, feeling like you have a solid ground, a solid foundation again in this connection. You and this person are going to be learning more about where you stand with each other through actions that seem to highlight your shared values more than anything. And we can know more about what that means when we have a look at your energies down here. But basically, the next big change in this connection is you guys realizing that you have common values, you have common goals. And this connection is not something you want to lose, but it is something that needs to be worked on. So you and this person are going to be finding a way to feel more secure in being able to approach each other about what is happening in other areas of your life and about areas of interest that seem to be able to help each other. So I know I'm using a lot of big words, so I'm trying to just get the message out, but this isn't helping. This Queen of Swords energy. Queen of Swords is a very intelligent energy. And There's a lot going on behind the scenes in this reading, which makes it very hard to figure out what this change is going to be. You two have both spent quite a lot of time thinking, preparing, maybe even planning, but ultimately just going over things in your head, trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to say? And how do I say it? When do I say it? All of that, to the point where the next big change in this connection is about trying to find peace of mind and peace of lifestyle. At the very least, there is going to be a truce between the two of you in which you agree to let bygones be bygones, right? To make sure that you don't continue being cruel to each other if that's what has been happening, or at least to make sure that you are more clear, because sometimes there's cruelty and confusion as well. By leaving each other in a confused space, it's felt a little bit like torture. It's allowed you to overthink and put things into extremities instead of just nipping it in the bud. So the biggest change is peace between the two of you with the Four of Swords. You both acknowledging that the past is in the past, and right here, right now, we don't have the energy to fight each other, or we don't have the energy to play games right now. And we see that with the Queen of Swords as well. There is a strong push towards knowing that you both have enough going on in your lives to worry or feed energy into petty behavior. So I do think with the Queen of Swords reversed, so much could be said, and this could really open a can of worms if you both really wanted to. You could really get nitpicky and tear each other apart and just be really petty over the information that you have about one another. But remember, the main goal here with the Maiden is to actually address your needs. And the best thing that you could do for yourself, if you know that this person isn't able to give you what you need right now, is to simply leave them alone. Find your needs elsewhere. And I do think that you've already been in that process anyway, because you two haven't been keeping up with each other and in each other's back pocket. So this next big change is more of a physical and conversational confirmation of what has already been happening. You've already been distancing yourselves. So now we're black and white. The line is being drawn in the sand, and it's giving you both peace of mind and peace in your lifestyle, because you feel a sense of security. You feel a sense of certainty now. You can clearly see the line in the sand and you can go, okay, cool. I know what to do now. I know what kind of plans to make for my future. I know what to focus on for my day-to-day. I know how to plan this now, or I know where I should be expecting this kind of energy or attention from. So it's not necessarily the best outcome in writing, but it's the best outcome for your energies. And with time, you're going to look back and go, wow, that's actually one of the best things I could have done for myself in this situation. So let's have a look at what you both want before I go ahead and clarify the key challenge and opportunity. I'm going to start with person A, and I'm using a smaller tarot deck just so I can leave these cards, these bigger cards out here. Spirit, what does person A want from this connection? Person A, remember person A in the beginning was the Four of Swords reversed. Person A wants the Wheel of Fortune. What does person B want in this connection? And remember, person B was the Lover's card reversed in the beginning. What does person B want? Thank you, Spirit. Three of Cups, Eight of... So between the both of you, I really think that you are wanting a new perspective. The Hanged Man is here to say you've been thinking about things. Sorry, just wiping my nose quickly. You've been thinking about things, you've been introspecting, you've been processing. And as it stands now, you're probably not ready for this yet, but you do both want to be able to see each other's point of view enough to accept it is what it is. The Hanged Man is a very philosophical energy, and it shows up in a reading to encourage us to look at things from a different perspective altogether. If you could step outside of yourself, either put yourself in the other person's shoes or put yourself in the shoes of a mutual acquaintance, a mutual friend or a mutual colleague, the bigger picture reveals that some of the ways we've been acting has been so focused on ourselves, or not enough focused on ourselves, that we've missed the point. So the Hanged Man tries to help you see the point by flipping the situation on its head so that you can hopefully think bigger than the grievances or the desires you previously had, so that you can ultimately see a unique angle that can offer a unique way forward that you didn't see before. So how does this impact the two of you? Person A is definitely looking for a way forward. You both are. Person A's way forward seems to be connected to good luck and good fortune. Person A is trying to expand, and they may even be doing so through higher education, higher learning, or they may be trying to be a bit more open-minded and a little bit more hungry for life and the philosophies of being a good person with the Wheel of Fortune, which is how sometimes this Jupiter energy leads to religious practices as you try to understand what life is and how to make the most out of it by being a better version of yourself. It can also mean that person A is physically wanting to move forward, physically wanting to move homes or move locations, move jobs, move living situations, whatever it is. There is this desire for positive physical and internal change. And so this desire does make me feel like person A kind of wants to tie up loose ends here, wants to be able to move forward with a clean conscience, with a good conscience, not a guilty conscience. And they hope that they can do so without feeling like they've left something unresolved here with you, if you're a person B. Because person B over here is definitely moving forward. Person B is feeling drawn towards a community of people that may put them in the paths of person A, or it may have to do with them starting a new life with a new circle of people. Person B's desires are definitely for some sort of fun or social atmosphere again. And for a lot of you, person B could be expecting a reunion with person A. And so they're hoping that this will be a positive chance for change. It's clear that person B is kind of somewhat more rehearsed and aware of what to expect in this situation. Probably because they've been in that Lover's card reversed energy, practicing what to say, practicing what they want in their heads and what they're going to do and how it's going to come through and the tone of their voice. They've been thinking a lot about this connection, so that if, when you two cross paths, person B is confident, charming, and even fun to be around with the Three of Cups. It looks like person B has a sense of passion and excitement that is really fueling their wants in this connection. They anticipate being able to celebrate or being able to enjoy either being around person A or simply being around people who might know of person A. So there's positive vibes on both sides. But I'll be honest, the emphasis doesn't seem to be on the connection itself, but more in how the connection impacts all the other areas of each other's lives. Trying to have a clean conscience, be a good person, and be in the right frame of mind is really important for both of you before you either have to see each other again or cross paths in any way. So let's have a look at your key challenge and your key opportunity now. I am going to use this big deck again because I'm really enjoying the imagery. Spirit, in terms of the next big change in this connection, what is the key challenge in this next big change for this connection? What is the key challenge? We have the Two of Cups. What is the key opportunity? The key opportunity is showing up as the Fool card reversed. Interesting. Let's talk about your opportunity, because it's interesting that that's the Fool reversed. Honestly, this is a feeling of baggage. Not quite being ready to start completely fresh yet. Why is this an opportunity? Because it feels like you're not ready to ignore or let each other go. There is an awareness of the history or the background that the two of you share together, and the fact that it's enough to stop you from wanting to completely cut the other person off. This is an opportunity to examine ties to each other and to your shared history. It's an opportunity to have a look at potential mistakes before they happen in the future. By looking at your past, you can examine, well, what can I avoid happening in a bad way? So sometimes the Fool card reversed means, well, the best way that I can describe it is, imagine you're standing on the edge of a cliff and it's safe enough for you to jump off this cliff into the waters below. But right when you've just worked up the courage to take that leap, a lump in your throat tells you, wait. That's what the opportunity in this connection is. It's a lump in your throat saying, wait. Don't take that leap yet. Even though logically you could, logically it's safe enough for you to do that, something in your gut is telling you, don't do it yet. So you kind of got to figure out what that is. What do you need to address before you move forward? Because your challenge is actually having that conversation with the Two of Cups. Your challenge is being on the same page as each other, which tells me that for a lot of you, you're either avoiding a conversation with each other, or you're anticipating that it's going to be very hard for the two of you to see eye to eye. You guys may either be coming from very different intentions, or you're just not wanting the same thing. So your challenge is to be able to get on the same page enough to accept the differences, to accept a way to move forward, and to accept some form of friendship, connection, partnership, acquaintance. You have to figure out what that is in order to move forward. And that's also what your opportunity is. It's really hand in hand. It's a very interesting way to be shown the problem and the solution as one and the same, pretty much. So let's get some advice from your angels now. The advice is coming from the Universe Has Your Back affirmation deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. And I'm just going to use these cards to help divinate messages from your angels to help you figure out what is in your best interest and what you need to do in order to feel like you've done the right things for yourself, my viewer, whether you're person A or person B. Spirit, what does Group 1's angels have to say in terms of advice on this connection moving forward. What does Group 1's angels have to say? Wow. Is that in frame? Yeah. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. There's that changed perspective. Your angels are encouraging you to observe and to listen. A lot of information has already been revealed to you, Group 1. You've already received a lot of wisdom and insight about this person, about this connection, and about how to move forward. Your angels are encouraging more time to process and to truly tune in to not only your heart space, but your head space. And this is not to over-process information, because you guys do need to be careful about thinking too much, confusing yourself with the details rather than focusing on the key information. So I think it would be very practical for you to organize or add some sort of structure to your thoughts. Create a journal or a list, a notepad, a sketch. Organize your thoughts. You may even find it helpful to look at the pros and cons of this connection, to look at the ties that you still have versus the differences, the separations, the things that are pushing you apart. What is pulling you together? What is pushing you apart from each other? What aspirations do you have inside this connection and outside of it? I do feel like person A is more inclined to remove themselves from this connection by pursuing other things. But person B's energy is attracting a lot of different people towards them as well. So I believe your angels are really encouraging you to look at the bigger picture as well, because the main words on this card is the world I see. Those are the words that are biggest. And then we have this imagery of this eye that is open. Your angels are encouraging you to look at the whole picture, to look at everything here, to look at how your experiences may have been limited or enriched because of this experience that you had with this person. What is the evidence telling you, though? I feel like you are growing apart, and that doesn't have to be awkward and uncomfortable anymore. I think that when you do interact with this person, if you're person B, you're going to be too rehearsed. You need to slip back into your nature and allow yourself to naturally navigate that conversation. And if you're person B, you're making this out to be bigger than it is. It just needs to be a conversation. It just needs to be an acknowledgement. It just needs to be a peace treaty so that you two can continue focusing on your worlds the way that you have been and enriching your experiences and your other relationships the way that you have been. So that is the emphasis of your main challenges and your main opportunities, and that is how your advice from your angels really ties it all together. I hope that's made sense for you, Group 1, especially in terms of the big change that is happening and why it is overall about your maiden journey, your ability to continue growing through experiences that address your needs and experiences that help develop your needs as well. The maiden is a very beautiful archetype. It's quite a feminine energy. Please don't be put off by that if you are a more masculine person. It is just an archetype. It's not an identity. And it's a powerful way of recognizing certain chapters in your journey. So if you feel drawn towards doing your own research, highly encourage you to. I'm going to end your YouTube reading here, and we're going to go into your extended reading now. So in your extended, we're going to have a look at when Will this big change in this connection happen? Do you need to prepare? Are there any surprises you need to know about? And what will others think about this big change? If that sounds interesting, and especially if the first part of your reading has resonated, the extended reading is also a wonderful way to support the channel and what I do here. The link to extended readings is in the description box and the pinned comment. Please remember your group 1 of the next big change in this connection reading that I did in March, 2025. Wow. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your support, group 1. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of your journey. Until we meet again, until we cross paths, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Look after your beautiful self, sweet soul, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your story and for letting me read for you. Bye. Hi group 2 and welcome to your reading. If you recognize the comic card, then you're in the right place. This card tells us a lot about your reading, to be honest with you. We're asking Spirit today, what is the next big change in this connection? And I do want to open your reading by looking into this card, but before we do that, I highly encourage you to set your intentions. I'm going to be setting mine as your reader. You can set your intention simply by focusing on the key information you'd like to gain out of this reading. I personally am going to be making sure that I set my intentions by focusing on clarity. So that can be a good place to start. But if you do have specific questions or signs or symbols you'd like to see during this reading, definitely focus on that as well. Spirit, please tune me into Group 2's energy. Please help me offer Group 2 the most clear, honest messages about their reading. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so you guys have the comic card, sweet souls. For me, this card says a lot about the next big change in your connection, mostly because of all the colors on here. When I look at this beautiful cat on this card, you can't help but just see the eyes going on behind. And this deck is definitely based on psychological archetypes. The archetype of the comic is that it uses humor to hide what's really going on. So the next big change in this connection is that there are things happening under the surface. And really what may be the big change is that there's a beautiful big moment for positive exchanges of energy that are really lighthearted, humorous, fun, but there's so much happening behind the scenes, which is very interesting. As you can see, we have a lot to get through. There will be more information in the description box, so do check up on that to track our progress. Honestly, I want to have a look at the current energies in your connection though. Before I clarify this card, let's have a look at what's actually happening in the connection as it stands currently. I'm going to be using the Telesma Tarot deck to do that. Whoops. All right. Spirit, what are the current energies in this connection? Okay. We have the Princess of Swords. What are person A's current energies in this connection? We have the Nine of Cups reversed. What are person B's current energies? Please, Spirit. What are person B's current energies? Okay, we have the Five of Coins. So if we look at these cards, let's have a look here first. The current energy in this connection with the Princess of Swords is an energy that feels immature. The energy in the connection is much more serious or intelligent or deeper than the way that it's being treated, which makes me think that there's a lot that isn't being said. When a Princess of Swords is reversed, it means that a person may be feeling underestimated, or they may be feeling like in this situation they're not being taken seriously, mostly because of either their age, a misunderstanding, a lack of experience, or something that was just taken out of context. And between the two of you, it's been really hard to move past that, whatever it is. It's been really hard to move past it. Now, person A is in an energy where they're having to really give and give and give, and they're not getting the rewards. They're not feeling appreciated. They're not feeling close to person B. They're not feeling like their needs are being met. They've been giving a lot of support. They've been giving a lot of their time, their patience. Whoever person A is in this connection, whether it is you or the other person, they're at a point where they're feeling like they really have to just focus on themselves. And it's gotten to the stage where, with the Nine of Cups reversed, and I'm just going to do this in case YouTube gets pedantic, where they just need to kind of shut down. The nines represent getting close to completion. So person A is just feeling like they need to shut down emotionally. They need to look for closeness, support, intimacy elsewhere. Person B, on the other hand, with the Five of Coins, is in this energy where they're feeling the separation, they're feeling a distance. Person B is attributing this towards being abandoned, being left behind. They think that person A is intentionally making them feel isolated or withdrawn. And they believe that this connection has created, estrangement. Person B feels estranged from person A. And for the Five of Coins to be upright, there is complete clarity around this. Like this person isn't in denial, they're not hiding it, they're very aware. So they feel like this is intentional, and I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. Both of you aren't getting your needs met in this connection. And person B is feeling like there's a physical distance as well as an emotional distance, whereas person A is attributing the emotions to be more of an issue. They just are emotionally fed up. They're emotionally drained. They're emotionally unsatisfied. They're emotionally unfulfilled. Person B is like, yeah, but we also just never see each other. We never spend quality time together. I can't even remember the last time we actually enjoyed being in the same room together. So one is being a little bit more pragmatic, focusing on the context of things, and the other one is being more subjective, focusing on their feelings and how it looks through their eyes. Whereas this person's like, yeah, but the situation is, like, maybe the feelings would be better or stronger or more stable if this problem was solved. So together, this is creating a huge deficit in point of view of what's going on, in willingness to work on the connection, and it's also creating a huge deficit in the connection's ability to grow. So that explains a lot about the Princess of Swords reversed. Let's put these cards back. Where's my deck? Over here. And we're now going to ask the $1 million question. Well, not that big of a question, but what you're here for. What is the next big change in this connection? Start with tarot. What is the next big change, Spirit, in group 2's connection? Okay, we have a card, the King of Swords. Interesting. What is the next big change? We have the Knight of Wands. What is the next big change? Last card, the Hanged Man. Just making sure there's no topless people. Looks like we're good. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to get my oracle, not my oracle cards, my crystals. And let's get into it. Group 2. Let's have a look at your comic again. We know that this comic is someone who's trying to make light of the situation. The next big change in this connection is that you guys are going to have the opportunity to move forward, to make some big decisions, and to figure out whether you're ready to let go what has happened or whether you need to use that experience as a sign to change the amount of energy you put into this once and for all. Now, I think you may be in an awkward and uncomfortable situation where you have to be really pleasant with each other, even though it feels uncomfortable. Even though you really just want to talk straight or you really just want to run in the other direction, you two are going to have to pretend to be besties. You're going to have to pretend to be really happy to see each other or very comfortable around each other when actually the situation is causing a lot of friction. What seems to be the next big change in this connection is a powerful decision that you both need to make on how to act. And it feels like you're trying to figure out, well, how do I act in this rushed situation? It's like you and this person are going to be forced to cross paths, and you're having to be the bigger person. You're having to put your stuff aside in order to handle the circumstances. And with the King of Swords, this does look like an act of diplomacy. It looks like you trying to be very fair to the situation. Again, trying to be the bigger person, trying to put your own stuff to the side and trying to just handle what is happening here in front of you. And we see a lot of symbolism in this card of some pretty heavy themes accompanied with this almost symbolic white bird that is taking off. That this doesn't solve any problems. The problems are still there. And we see that in the other two cards. Despite you choosing to be the bigger person, the problems are still there, group 2. You're just choosing not to let them bother you in this situation. And so it does feel like it grinds against you. Like it just feels like nails on a chalkboard. It feels very uncomfortable. And it's even uncomfortable to talk about for too long. But you're trying to look at the bigger picture. And if you see the imagery in the back of this card, you can see that we're looking at clouds from above. You're trying to just step outside of yourself and focus on the bigger picture in that moment. Which takes us into this Knight of Wands energy. The Knight of Wands reversed is very frustrating because it's unpredictable. An already unpredictable energy becomes even more unpredictable when it's reversed. And it feels like there's some method to this chaos. There's some semblance of reasoning that you can convince yourself of. You can say, well, look, I'm only here because I promised someone that I would be here and I never go back on my promises. Like there's some semblance of reasoning, but the whole thing just feels chaotic. The next big change in this connection is not planned. It's a last minute decision. It's very up in the air. It feels volatile. It feels like at any moment, you or this person are just going to want to run out of there, or someone's going to bring up something that makes you both feel really uncomfortable. But you get through it. And I want you to know that when you're in this moment with the Knight of Wands reverse, you will get through it. The good thing about that kind of chaos is it can't last for long. It was so unstable to begin with that it comes to a very quick end. Like all things fueled by fire, once the source runs out, the fire stops. And that is something you're going to have to tell yourself when this happens. You're going to need some time to decompress after this happens. And you're going to need some time to reflect and really think about things. When this happens, I see you with the Hanged Man reversed, being actually very set on some sort of idea, like nothing's going to change your mind, which makes me think that people are trying to change your mind. People are coming up to you and going, hey, how are you doing? Like, I noticed you've just been sitting in the corner. Thanks for coming tonight. Have you spoken to them yet? And you're like, no, why would I speak to them? I'm still furious. I'm here because you asked me to be here and I would do this for you, but I'm still furious. And this person might be like, well, maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe if you two just had your moment and spoke, you'd feel a lot better. Despite what other people tell you, despite physically showing signs of maturity and being able to make an objective decision for the best good of everybody involved, you can't change how you feel. Your feelings are set in stone almost. Your feelings are impassable. And in the sense of you can't get past them. You feel like you're holding a grudge. And the next big change in this connection is almost like you're being forced into a situation where you realize, I can't change how I feel. And that's really hard for me, but I can't get over this. I'm never going to trust this person again with the Hanged Man reversed. I'm never going to feel safe enough to open up to them again. And I'm never going to feel like I can be my authentic, sensitive, secure self around them. I'm always going to have a guard up. And that's what happens to Neptunian energy once it's been betrayed. It can't be its dreamy, sensitive self. It's skeptical, it's paranoid, it's guarded, it's moody. And that's how you're coming across. So I'm very curious to see, with this next big change, what it looks like for the two of you. So coming back to person A and person B, think about who you resonated with the most when I spoke in the beginning about your current energies. We're going to have a look at the next big change in this connection for person A and for person B. Spirit, what is the next big change in this connection for person A? We have the six, reversed. What is the next big change for person B? Okay, I'm going to take that. Yeah, okay, the Sun reversed. So both are showing signs of disconnect more than anything. I think that for some of you, you may have waited a really long time for this opportunity. This was your bottom deck energy. And it indicates that you guys may have really been holding on to the chance or the possibility of being in the same room again or being able to cross paths again. And really what I'm seeing is that this situation highlights how separate you feel from each other. It highlights how much water is under the bridge. And for some of you, it highlights how much has actually happened since you've been gone. I'm hearing Kelly Clarkson. Since you've been gone. I feel that you are both going to recognize that regardless of whatever the mutual tie is, the next big change in this connection is an awareness of you don't control my happiness from person B's perspective. You actually make me feel really uncomfortable, self-conscious, and at times triggered to be around. There's a similar energy coming from person A. Person A is realizing this situation deeply impacts my self-esteem, how I see myself, and it makes me very worried about how other people see me. Being around person B makes me worry about my character, my reputation. It makes me worried about the way I look and what I'm doing, whether I'm good enough. You both seem to feel self-conscious around each other, and you're both very insecure. The next big change in this connection is an awareness of how much you need your support systems. Person A is going to be actively looking for validation from the people around them, from the environment around them. They're going to be actively looking for people to validate that they are good enough to be in that room with you. Person B, on the other hand, is going to be also experiencing self-esteem issues, but there's a lack of confidence here, and that is triggering the reactions that person B has. Person B's light is dim with the sun reversed. Person B's mindset is pessimistic with the sun reversed, and person B's personality is moody, off-putting, and honestly just thinking about all the beautiful people outside of this connection that they have in their lives. Person B is literally feeling like they're remembering something or someone. The next big change in this connection is a feeling of I miss myself, I miss the old me, but I also miss the people who made me feel good about myself. So there is already dissociation in this connection of recognizing how this connection does not fulfill a self-identity, but also the self-esteem aspect. It feels very damaging. It's interesting that that's the way it's coming through. These are very fiery energies. They're not just connected to ego, although they both are, which is quite rare, but they're also connected to the fire element. We do have Leo here, we have Leo there, but we also have Sagittarius here. And you both want clarity, but you both feel like you're staring at clarity. So there's no real confusion. There's just a sad revelation with the sun reversed. Goodness. I'm very curious as to what happened here between the two of you. It feels like you guys are exes or ex-friends or just not close anymore. Let's have a look at your key challenge and your key opportunity. Spirit, when looking at this next big change in Group 2's connection, what is their key challenge going to be? What is the key challenge going to be, Spirit, in this next big change? Okay. We have the King of Cups. And what is their key opportunity going to be? We have the Knight of Coins. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I just want to get one card to describe the overall shift in this connection, Spirit. What is the overall energetic shift in this connection during this big change? Okay, Pisces, yeah. There's that Pisces barrier. Okay, this is definitely a nail in the coffin. Like, we can't come back from this type of vibe. The overall energy of this next big change is exactly what I picked up on at the start of your reading. Pisces reversed. Definitely encourage you to do your own research, sweet soul. Have a look at what happens when Pisces feel like they've been pushed too far. This is an energy that is at the end of our zodiac. It's a wise energy of intuitive knowledge, and even a young Piscean has an old soul kind of vibe to them. But this Pisces energy, without attributing it to the human experience in terms of a sun sign, it's an energy of divine wisdom. It's an energy of almost knowing so much it's overwhelming. Knowing so much about what it means to be human as a spiritual being that it's overwhelming. And that's why Pisces is so deep and so quick to go from overly sort of dreamily attached to very low, very sad, detached. I'd rather be in my inner world because reality is despicable. And there is no in between, in that in this situation, the next big change in your connection is that feeling of just wanting to disconnect, I'd rather be in my own little world because this situation is not it. And we can see with this Pisces reversed a feeling of giving up, a feeling of just, there's nothing left for me here. And it's really quite heavy. So we're going to go into the other cards now. With this key challenge, the King of Cups says that your main challenge is going to be acting emotionally mature, which says a lot about this connection and what's happened. Your biggest challenge is to be emotionally mature. And I'm even feeling like you're trying not to let the other person get to you. Whoever you resonate as, whether it's person A, person B, those cards aren't here anymore. But with the King of Cups, you're both trying not to let the other person get to you. You're both wearing a mask. You're both trying to be emotionally mature in this situation. And it's really hard because you have a lot of feelings. You have a lot going on under the surface. And we really picked up on that with the comic. So let's look at your key opportunity. With the Knight of Coins here, sweet soul, your key opportunity is to be able to pull that connection out of the ground. When I see a Knight of Coins reversed, it's an immediate change of plans. It's an immediate upheaval. We're going, this plan wasn't working. The way that we've been doing things isn't working. Let's change it. The opportunity here is to immediately cut something off and go, yep, never going to do that again. In a very final, very blunt, very clear, Virgo-influenced way. So that could be another thing to look into if you're not familiar with the way that Virgos end things. It can be done in a very obvious, intentional, at times abrasive, clever, yet clear way. A complete full stop. We're not even writing the same book anymore. I'm starting a completely new book and you're not going to be in it. So don't even bother asking me or talking to me about anything about what I'm doing in the future. There's a strong feeling here of this being absolute, even though there were already signs that it was ending, that it couldn't continue. So this is a beautiful way to really just go, cut. We're done. I'm moving forward. So I do want to close your reading by getting some advice from your angels now. I just got to figure out which card to use. Oh yes, we're using this one. This is the Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back Oracle deck. And the cards in this deck are more affirmations. So I'm going to be using them to guide me through messages from your angels. Spirit, what does Group 2's angels have to say to them as advice during this next big change? Group 2. Okay, wow. Sweet soul, that's quite clear. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. This is pretty straightforward. Your angels are just really encouraging you to find the clarity in the obstacles. If it's becoming increasingly challenging, increasingly difficult, and obviously filled with conflict, it's a sign that it's not meant to be. Your angels are encouraging you to see this whole situation as a detour into the right direction, especially if you've hit a dead end here, and it looks like you will be. Maintain hope that the real or the better option, the better opportunity is out there. This isn't it. Your angels are also encouraging you to clear your head, to focus on what you know, to focus on what you feel, to not get overwhelmed or confused about all the other things, all the other problems, all the other people, all the other opinions, or all the other unknowns. You have enough information to be able to start making new plans for yourself, or for some of you with that Knight of Coins reversed, following up, following through. You've already planted seeds in new horizons, so start watering them. Continue letting them grow. Continue cultivating a new future for yourself. Your angels do send you a lot of signs, Group 2, about what you can do to give yourself a better chance at succeeding, either in other connections or just in other pathways. You're being guided. You're also being protected. Look at this imagery of protection. Your angels give you so many signs to affirm the right actions you've taken, in that these actions are going to help you overcome the challenges you're experiencing. They're going to help you feel like you're in alignment with your highest possible outcome. And they're going to help you sleep better. It's going to help you feel more supported, more purposeful. I think that this is a group that already has other loved ones, other people who have been helping you through this. And your angels are really showing you that this is not the connection to expect that kind of energy from. You have that elsewhere. So that is what I'm seeing for you, my group 2s. I'm going to take this into the extended reading now. The extended reading links are in the description box and the pinned comment. That takes you to my website where I host all my extended readings. So please make sure you double check that you've clicked on the right reading, your group 2 of the next big change in this connection YouTube reading. I do have more information about this in the description box and the pinned comment in case my handwriting looks really uncomfortable to read. But basically, in your extended, we're going to have a look at when will this next big change happen. Do you need to prepare for this next big change? And we're going to have a look at that through person A and person B, just to see if either of you are preparing or if you need to prepare. It was very helpful. I know it seems like a silly question to ask, but it was actually very insightful, looking at how both people are going to handle this next big change, at least for group 1. Then I'm going to ask Spirit, are there any surprises that you don't know about that are involved in this next big change? Whether it's a part of the process or something that comes out after this change happens, are there any surprises in this connection? Lastly, to help you get a bigger picture of what is happening, we're going to close your reading by looking at what others are going to think about this next big change. And the point of getting that other perspective is not to gossip monger. It's actually to help you see how other people are seeing this, because we're going to look at your loved ones, and then we're going to look at your acquaintances, person A's loved ones, person B's loved ones, and your mutual. What do they think? That was very helpful for group 1. There was also an opportunity in that question to gain closure around the other person's loved ones. So if that sounds helpful, I'm obviously very passionate about it, but if it feels like something that is helpful for you, the link is in the description box and the pinned comment. Navigate there. Make sure you select group 2. But if this is where we part ways, thank you so much for letting me read for you, group 2. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. And until we cross paths again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Goodbye for now. Hi group 3, and welcome to your reading. If you recognize the warrior card, then you're in the right place, sweet souls. Today's reading is about the next big change in your connection. So it is really important that you come to this reading with a specific connection in mind in order for us to figure out what is happening in that connection. You're allowed to come with like an idea. If it's not a specific person, for example, maybe your idea is about your future spouse, or your idea is about your next friendship, that kind of thing. As long as it is something, as long as it's not just up in the air. Speaking of up in the air, before I open your reading, I am going to set my intentions. And this is a really good way to ground the energy between us, to make sure that we're both on the same wavelength, especially in a general reading. I highly encourage that you set your intentions as well. Consider the questions, the themes that you would like covered in this reading, and even consider certain signs or symbols you would like to see to be able to claim this message. Okay. Spirit, please tune me into group 3's energy. Please help me offer group 3 the most clear, honest messages about their reading. Thank you, Spirit. All right. So this warrior, let's talk about it. The warrior energy is accompanied with the number 10 in this deck. And we can see with the warrior card that there is an energy here of what I want to say resilience, an energy of being very physically capable, and someone who doesn't give up easily. So I do wonder with this symbolism, if this is a connection that's about to go through some sort of full circle moment with the number 10, that is very gratifying considering the amount of effort you've both put into this. It feels like it's quite a milestone in this connection, as though it's a sign of the end of one chapter and the start of another. Now, because of the rainbow on this card, I feel like this is a positive change in this connection. I feel like this is an overall, like you can both agree that this is a good change. And there's also this acknowledgement of the hardships, the challenges that led you towards this change. The things you had to overcome in order to be able to embrace these kinds of changes. So that's very interesting. It's a lot more than just something that's happened organically. It feels like you both have actually put in a lot of effort in order for this connection to have this positive change. So before we clarify what that change is, let's have a look at your current energies right now. Let us see where you're at. Group 3, please, Spirit. What is the current energy of Group 3's connection, please, Spirit? What is the current energy? Okay. We have the 3 of coins reversed. Spirit, what is person A's current energy? Person A. Person A is the 8 of Wands reversed. What is person B's current energy, Spirit? Person B's current energy. Okay. Person B is the 4 of coins. Interesting that there's so many coins. The back of the deck was the 10 of Wands as well. So there's that 10. Wow. Currently speaking, you guys are at breaking point. Sorry for yawning. It's so random when it comes on too. Currently speaking, you guys are at breaking point. There is a feeling here of having been through it. Now, this connection feels like it may be a hypothetical. You guys may not have actually met each other yet. And this is, the next big change in a future connection. But I'm just going to address it as if we're talking about, it's here right now, and apply it to your situation however it fits. Now, the connection as a whole, in the current energies, there is a feeling here of wanting more alone time together and of being torn between working on yourself versus working on this, whatever it is. If you're with this person already or they're in your life already, there is this this torn feeling between I need to work on myself, but I also know that I need to spend more quality time with this person. If they aren't in your life yet, you're trying to figure out how much energy do I continue to put into finding them or having them in my life? How much more? When do I just sort of pull back and focus on the way my life is right now? And I think with the 3 of coins reversed, if you are still looking for this person, there's a strong feeling of focusing on the qualities that you're looking for, focusing on the foundation and trying not to get distracted by other people or by temporary connections. It definitely feels like this 3 of coins reversed is a desire to just go back to the plan and to ultimately feed more energy into self first and foremost. I think that this connection is in the planning stages again, or for the first time. The current energies seem to be very hypothetical for some reason, like they're just thinking of what to do, what could we do, what could happen, how do we work well together, what's the compatibilities, what are the potentials, what could our future look like, are we going to have a farm with 5 goats and a chicken that crows and doesn't even lay eggs. It's like a lot of scheming and dreaming, the 3 of coins reversed, because ultimately that card is about gaining momentum through collaboration, having a long-term goal and seeing progress because of the people you choose to work with and the collaboration you have. So it's like we're not collaborating, but we are scheming about how we could collaborate. And with that in mind, let's have a look now at person A's energy. So ultimately, I'm doing this person A, person B style. Whoever you, my reader, resonate as being most, your person is the other perspective. So we're going to start with person A's current energies. With the 8 of Wands reversed, these energies feel very frustrated, sweet soul. They feel like an energy of, I have all of this desire, all of this ambition, I have all of this passion to give, but I have no one to give it to. And the 8 of Wands reversed can be a reflection of desire, passion, creativity that just isn't able to ground, isn't able to express. In this connection, person A has an energy towards the connection of impatience. Like, I don't know what journey person A has been on, but it feels like they have been doing it for a while and they've lost their spark a little bit. They've lost their sense of purpose and they're not feeling very motivated towards this connection, only because when an 8 is reversed, it's a reflection of self more than anything. We try to blame the external. We try to say like, oh, life's just been so crazy and, this has been happening and I got told this on Monday and it was really hard for me to process. But that's the secret to why it's overwhelming. When an 8 of Wands is reversed, it's overwhelming because the choices, the actions that person's been making haven't been in balance and they haven't been able to find that delicate line of doing what they love, doing what they genuinely excites them or what genuinely makes them feel connected to something bigger than themselves versus needing to survive in this modern world. So I think that person A is struggling with that balance of doing things that excites them versus needing to handle the responsibilities that pays the bills. And it's impacting this connection because it's impacting their desire and their passion and their spark. They're not feeling like their usual colorful, creative, or even just optimistic self. They're looking like someone who needs more sleep or kind of needs to spice up their routine a little bit more. And we see that in the imagery. There's this person sitting on this mat and they're facing away from us. This person may be facing away from this connection. And they really do need a lot of time to just think about what the imbalance is and what's throwing them off. The 8 cards to me are about cycles. And when it's reversed, it's that natural ebb where things aren't flowing very well. But we need to honor that. We need to just sit with it and be patient as we naturally come back into alignment. Now, person B, on the other hand, person B is in a very similar energy, but handling it differently. Person B's priorities may be to just focus on their stability right now, which could include their money situation, really trying to budget or save money for something. Person B is feeling unmotivated to do anything bold or courageous in this connection. They're kind of in their comfort zone a little bit. So this person may just be at a point in this connection where they feel like they don't have to push things too far. They feel like they don't have to force things to happen. They're just enjoying the process and they're maintaining the foundation of success they already have in this connection or on their own journey. Because this Four of Coins is ultimately about the stability of your financial realm or your physical realm. So that's not just money, that's also your health, that's also your habits, your lifestyle, and that's also your values in a physical way. So I think that this person, socially speaking, is just doing the same thing week after week at this point. Lifestyle, they're probably eating the same food day after day, or they have a favorite food that they've been comfortably eating continuously. Just feels like someone that's got in a comfort zone more than anything. And while this is a wonderful place to be temporarily, it's a very limiting place to exist in long term. So both people in this connection seem to be in different ways taking it for granted or not truly focused on it right now. And that could just be because life is happening, right? But your current energies don't seem to be doing much in this connection. You're just maintaining what already is or what could be. There's no push to do anything different right now. There's no desire to create change right now. So that's the current energies. Let's now have a look at the next big change in this connection. Whoa, calm down. Okay, Spirit. When looking at Group 3's connection, what is the next big change, please, Spirit? What is the next big change? Okay, whoops. We have the Four of Cups, not another four, wow. What is the next big change, please, Spirit? What is the next big change in this connection, please, Spirit? What is the next big change? One more card, please, Spirit. What is the next big change? Goodness me. There we go, finally. Gosh, this is a big deck to shuffle. It's a lot. Alrighty. So, what's going on here? 4, 8, and Princess. There's still a lot of dreaming and scheming happening in this next change. But there is a desire to do something. We are seeing more action in this shift. This is interesting. How does this connect with the warrior spirit? I guess there's more awareness of how if you want something, you have to do it. But I don't know why. It could just be because of the nature of your connection or the nature of your natures, the way that the two of you are. It's nothing dramatic. Maybe you've known this person for so long that there is this complete acceptance and confidence of them being in your life. Or maybe you don't know them yet, and there is this blind confidence that if they're meant to be in your life, they will find a way to you without you forcing things to happen. But there's definitely slow shifts. A lot of these shifts are internal. The next big change in this connection is about the two of you being able to communicate what you want, share ideas, and being able to get out of your head. Now, if you know this person already, you are going to feel like you've been wasting your time with them. You're going to feel like you're missing out on opportunities. And you're looking at opportunities as chances to connect deeply, chances to experience beautiful things together, and chances to bond and feel that closeness that you know you can have. That's what you feel you're missing out on. Being able to acknowledge that really opens the door towards, well, what have I not been doing? How have I been contributing to this stagnant cycle that we're in right now? And with the Eight of Swords reversed, what can I do to change that? So this is an internal shift that you're both having, where you're both recognizing like you want more excitement or just fun or some more sweet moments together. But how can you both do that? And you aren't really telling each other how much this impacts you. You're each thinking it, but you're not saying, look, I feel really bad for how I haven't replied to you in weeks, or I feel really bad for how I haven't planned anything with you in a really long time. Instead of saying that, you're simply having this internal conversation, and then you're going with the Princess of Swords. Okay, maybe I'm going to open up a conversation about it really carefully. I won't address anything directly. I'm just going to have a little conversation to see if they want to go to the aquarium with me, or to see if they want to hang out, or to see if we could do a date night again. With the Princess of Swords finishing this reading, or this part of your reading, the actions that you take aren't very well thought out, but that doesn't mean they're not important. It just means that the ideas come to you spontaneously. After feeling some type of way and really pushing yourself to get out of your head, you decide to do something very small that shows that you're thinking of this person, and vice versa, you're each thinking of each other. Now, the gesture is small, but the sentiment is there. I think it's quite appreciated, and I don't know the nature of this connection very well, but there is this awareness of, like, I can see you trying on both sides. Now, if you don't know this person yet, and you are wondering, what is the next big change in our connection as we find each other? The next big change is realizing how you're not content in your lives. There's more that you want. There's more that you're craving. And ultimately, you are seeking each other. And you're going to, again, be using that feeling of I'm not completely satisfied to get out of your head and evaluate what more can I do to manifest or move things along, to be able to get closer to either meeting this person or simply just getting closer to them with the Eight of Swords reversed. And so there is an opportunity here to either connect, either online, or to briefly become acquainted. There's a small gesture of putting yourself out there with the Princess of Swords and trying again in a way that is you being in the driver's seat, not waiting for things to happen for you. You're going, well, nothing's going to change unless I do something to change it. So I'm going to put myself out there, or I'm going to do more research, or I'm going to Google, this, or I'm going to follow up on that idea. I'm going to join that group activity. I'm going to sign up for that community class. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do to meet more people and join that activity on the waterfront, or start participating in online forums with similar interests to me. Whatever it is, you're going like, nothing's going to change unless I do something about it. So I'm going to start small and just see what happens from there. So let's have a look at what this change means. Actually, we will leave those cards for each of you. Person A, person B. Spirit, what is this next big change for person A in this connection? What is the next big change for person A in this connection, Spirit? What is the next big change? Person A is showing up as the Five of Cups. What is the next big change for person B in this connection? Person B is showing up as Justice. So person A in this connection is specifically feeling the sadness of this Four of Cups. That was at the back of the deck, another Four of Cups. So person A is moving beyond boredom, stagnation, and feeling like life just isn't exciting. They're actually feeling sad. This next big change is a awareness of what they're missing out on, and it's impacting their mood. It's making them doubt that they can have the closeness that they deserve, and it's putting them in a funk. Now, for this to hit them that badly, I think that there is other stuff happening in person A's life. I think that person A is a warrior. I think you both are. And whatever person A is going through is actually a lot more than just this connection isn't exciting anymore. There's a lot of other things contributing to person A wanting or needing to just process the heaviness. The Five of Cups is a feeling of loss. It's a feeling of life has changed, or my life has changed in a way where I'm no longer the person that I used to be, and the people who I relied on are no longer as close to me as I need them to be. So this person could be going through grief. They could have physically lost somebody, or they could have emotionally lost somebody. But this person's next change is this awareness of life has actually changed so much that I'm not even sure what is next. And I really wish I had more people close to me, including this connection, to be able to confide in or gain support from or just open up to. And this person's body language is away from the connection. So I think that whatever this person is going through, they don't advertise it. It's a healthy awareness of feelings. Like they're in completely, it's not a bad thing. It's a natural thing of this person going like, goodness, I've been through a lot and I just need to have a cry, or I just need to sit with it for a little bit and process it. But they don't want to do it publicly, or they don't really want to show or share how much they're going through to person B, which really shows how person B is balancing that energy out. If you don't know each other, you're impacting each other. Where person A feels like they're losing control, they're losing their grip, person B is very in control. Person B is fiercely holding on to the balance, the harmony, and any tangible aspects of their reality, to the point where it almost feels performative. It almost feels like person B is being too conscientious, or is being too diplomatic, or it's just coming across as someone that's very focused in pleasing other people, to the point where it's like, well, how are you doing? How have you been? Like, thank you for asking about me and for introducing me to that friend of yours, but how are you, person B? What's going on for you? And this person's really good at deflecting, or they're just really focused on other people, because what is changing for them is this desire to be in balance, in harmony, and to be able to come across as someone who has everything together in a very objectively organized way. But this justice energy isn't always a good persona to have, because it means putting yourself behind the needs of others. It can be a good temporary energy to be in, especially if you have a responsibility to show up for others, or to be there as a supportive advocate for others. But over time, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. You have to be able to support yourself. So the next big change for person B is trying to find gratification outside of themselves. And I think that this is a part of them being either altruistic, or just, more charitable and trying to be generous, trying to help, trying to make a difference. They could also just be focusing on their relationships and making sure that the people that they love know that they love them, knows that they're there for them. But there's a lot of energy of, I need to focus on things outside of myself, which makes me think that you two are looking for things bigger than this connection, or you're not together yet. So let's have a look at what the key challenge and opportunity is going to be. Which deck should I use? Yeah, we can use this deck. We'll use the Talisman Tarot deck again. It's just getting a bit hard to shuffle. I think you're going to be my last group as well, group 3. Spirit, when it comes to group 3, what is the key challenge in this next big change for their connection? Whoa. What is the next? Okay, we'll take it. What is the next opportunity for their connection? Okay, interesting. All right, I might just shuffle out cards for each of you as well. Spirit, for person A, what is the key challenge? What is the key challenge for person A? Person A is showing up as the King of Swords. Okay. What is the key challenge for person B? What is the key challenge for person B, please, Spirit? Person B is showing up as the Nine of Swords. What is the key opportunity for person A? Wheel of Fortune. What is the key challenge? Wow. The 9 for person B. Look at this like repetition here. 9 and 9. So the number 10 and the number 9 are quite significant for this group. They just keep coming back. When we have a look at the challenge objectively, in this connection, we're looking at the fact that the two of you are getting impatient. You're getting restless. You're finding a internal pull to, I just feel like you're being pulled towards expanding your horizons, your interests, your routine, like just spicing things up. But you're either projecting that onto other people by trying to help them chase excitement in their lives, or you're having a hard time stepping outside of yourself because you're having the tendency to be really critical of yourself. So your challenge is to try to use this restlessness, this impatience, to do something about it. Person A's challenge is to make balanced, thoughtful, objective decisions with the King of Swords, the kinds of decisions that lead to change, movement, and ultimately a bigger awareness of how everything is happening for a reason. So we know that person A is going to be in that 5 of Cups energy. It's very hard to just switch from woe is me into I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. You know, so this isn't telling you what you're doing wrong if you are person A. It's simply encouraging you towards that solution. Once you hit a point where you've cried all your tears or you've lamented over your frustrations, the next natural part is to be able to get back in the driver's seat and go, well, nothing's going to change unless I do something about it. So what can I do with this King of Swords? What plans can I make? What actions can I take? How is that going to impact the trajectory that my life is on? How is that going to impact this connection? How is that going to impact the other people in my life? And how is that going to help me get out of this situation? So the King of Swords is about looking at everything, making decisions that can positively impact most moving parts involved, whether they're people, responsibilities, or plans and goals. The King of Swords looks at how everything is interconnected and how those decisions, those actions will impact more than one area of their lives. So the challenge is to be able to think like that, even though with that 5 of Cups, you're going through it. Now, person B's challenge with the Nine of Swords is similar. I think that they're going through those same themes, but they're having a hard time personifying them. This is the type of person that processes things through other people's experiences. They can't just sit down and go, yeah, that was really difficult for me and I'm ready to talk about it. They have to go, wow, I'm really going through it. I need to get out of the house. Let me go see what this person's up to. Oh, really? You're going through something? Let me help you. Let me get you through that. I can do it. Let me be a part. Do you want me to go down to the shops for you? When their own fridge is empty. So they have to be very careful about projecting instead of reflecting. Person B's challenge is to be able to sit with it all and to be able to understand it all without trying to distract themselves, without trying to deflect or project the issues. Person B needs to know how to process these feelings and what to do about them for themselves, not for other people, but for themselves. The 9 card is very much about self. And we see self over here again with the opportunities. The Knight of Swords as an opportunity highlights... Sorry, group 3. I was just trying to figure out what the hell my dogs were barking at. The Knight of Swords here symbolizes the opportunity to act. It's as simple as that. You both have an opportunity to act. Your challenge is stepping outside yourself, stepping outside of your impatience and your imbalances so that you can act on the opportunities you have. The truth is, your opportunity is about realizing that you are the main character in your life. And things aren't going to change or develop unless you take accountability. And this isn't about punishing yourself. This isn't about being critical and saying, I'm not doing enough. No. Don't do that. It's simply about taking steps towards your happiness. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It doesn't have to be you trying to be a perfect person. That's not what human and being human is about. But nothing is going to change in your life for the better unless you do something about it. So the least you can do is try. And what we're seeing here, sweet souls, with person A's energy is this desire to try something very different with the Wheel of Fortune. Person A's opportunity is a major turn of events that is really going to put them outside of their environment, outside of their way of thinking. It introduces them to new cultures, to new perspectives, and it feels like a beautiful turn of events after what was a very hard experience. Person A is going to start to feel like they're more optimistic, seeking version of themselves. And I do get that energy from person A's opportunity. It feels like it's about seeking experience, seeking information, seeking things that are outside of themselves. And it took them a little while to get there, really. Person A's opportunity may even involve long distance travel that puts them in a location so different from their home life. It helps them put everything into order, or it helps distract them from the things that they can't control. The Wheel of Fortune makes no promises, but it's a very attractive invitation to experience positive change. You just have to be courageous enough to accept that opportunity. And I do see that. You're both warriors. I believe that these opportunities came into your lives for a reason, to help you see beyond your past and beyond your current timeline so that you can start acting in a way that aligns with a better outcome. So you're not in that Four of Cups. And listen, the Four of Cups serves a purpose. You can't always be chasing things. You have to have moments of rest, moments of stability. That's what those fours are for. But they're always temporary chapters. The longer we hold on to those moments, the less growth, the less experiences, and the less capabilities we tend to develop. You guys may have been really comfortable and you forgot how dynamic and adaptable and exciting you are. And I'm not saying that you should do that all the time. It's definitely not something that aligns with society's expectations. You can't have a full-time job while trying to be dynamic and exciting. Well, a lot of people can, but it's obviously a lot to expect that of you. So again, it's about the cycles in life. And in order for this connection to really either bring the two of you together or to help the two of you feel happier, there has to be this shift in, I'm the main character, I'm capable of taking actions. And we see that in person B's energy as well with the Nine of Cups. They went from being challenged by their own thoughts, feeling like they were consumed by layer after layer of internalized feelings and thoughts, to my happiness is the most important thing to me. And doing what makes me happy, being around people that fulfill me, that recognize me, that listen to me, that appreciate me, is the best thing that I can do for me. And I need to start doing more things for me. There's a really beautiful, healthy push in person B's energy to start prioritizing themselves, their own well-being, their own mood, and their own happiness. Because this person is recognizing how that's the missing ingredient in their life, actually. It's not that they haven't been doing enough for other people, it's that they haven't been doing enough for themselves. And that is impacting this connection. It's making the two of you more action-orientated. It's helping the two of you feel more motivated towards taking care of yourself first. And it's putting you two in the same vibration. I see your two energies being perfectly aligned. And it's helping the two of you either show up for each other better or actually find each other because you're in the same energetic frequency. So this next big change is either going to help bring the two of you together for the first time, or it's going to help bring the two of you together after a long time, or what feels like a long time, so that you can both confidently prioritize yourself, your own happiness, and be more receptive towards each other's happiness, rather than project, deflect, or ultimately just be in a bad headspace. So, with that being said, let's have a look at some advice now. To close your reading, I'm going to get some advice from your guardian angels. This is the Gabrielle Bernstein Oracle deck. It's called The Universe Has My Back. Whoops. And we're just going to pull a card that is going to help me understand some of the themes that your angels are wanting to share with you. Spirit, what advice does Group 3's angels have for them about this connection? What advice does Group 3's angels have for them about this connection, Spirit? What advice? Okay. Oh, look at that. Group 3. The presence of love will always cast out fear. That's really beautiful, sweet soul. Your guardian angels, oh, that might make me cry actually, especially with this card. You guys have come a long way. Oh my God. Maybe I didn't sleep enough last night. That really got to me. That's like making my eyes sting. You guys have come a long way. And a part of being human is trying to figure out your emotions and understand what is right and what is the best thing to do. And there's nothing wrong with needing time. There's nothing wrong with needing to slow down in order to figure that out. Your guardian angels are highlighting that this next big change is as important as it is for yourself as it is for the connection. You can't have a strong connection with this person unless we prioritize you first. Not because this connection isn't going to work out, but because you are the most important person in this story, and that's a lesson both of you are being reminded of. Your angels, whether you're person A or person B, are putting you in a place where they're reminding you of how important it is to be in control of yourself. You are in control of your thoughts, and you have the responsibility of taking actions for yourself, especially if those actions impact other people. You have to be selfish and think about it like that first. And then you think about, well, how is this going to impact other people as well? But ultimately, there needs to come a point in your journey where when you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, at your wit's end, exhausted, you need to stop looking outside of yourself and you need to go, I'm not in the driver's seat anymore. I need to actively choose to change this. And it starts with the love and the care that you have for yourself to want better, to want to do better, to want to try harder. You deserve that. Sometimes it's hard to confidently believe that when we look at ourselves in the mirror. So instead, this is a wonderful practice. Look at a baby photo of yourself. Look at a photo of yourself from when you were 4 or 5 years old. And talk to yourself in the third person. Say, Lorraine, which is my name, not your name, I'm going to do better for you. You deserve everything. It's a wonderful way of talking to yourself in a more kind, more attentive, more loving way. As we are today, it's sometimes hard to see ourselves like that. It's easier to be fearful or judgmental or critical. And this isn't about being critical and judgmental of yourself, because ultimately, even when you drop the ball, you're still doing the best that you can. Taking accountability is about recognizing that life happens for you. You are the main character. You are the only one who can steer the direction it is in. And yes, other people's actions have a big impact on us. And they can have an even bigger impact if we let them. But ultimately, we hold the reins to the direction of our life. We steer it. And we do that through our actions, our reactions, the thoughts we choose, and the intentions we set. So your angels are encouraging you to choose positive thoughts, loving thoughts, to set self-focused intentions, and to do so with the idea of, I'm going to make positive changes. I'm not going to let my fear overcome the love that I have for myself on this journey and the person that I know I can be, regardless of what I've been through, regardless of how difficult things have been. My actions are bigger than that, and my future is bigger than that. So that's what I'm seeing for you, group 3. That's the last message I have for you. I'm going to leave your YouTube reading here, and we're going to go into your extended, where we focus on connecting all the little dots. So this is still in line with your next big change in this connection, but the little dots are these questions. When will this change happen? Do either of you need to prepare for this change? Are there any surprises that you don't know about on either side? And what are other people going to think about this change? What are your loved ones going to think? What are their loved ones going to think? What are mutual friends, family, acquaintances going to think? All of these questions are aimed at filling in the gaps and tying those big themes together. They're littler questions that help put in the extra pieces to the bigger puzzle. Really, this part of your reading on YouTube was about getting some pretty big elements out there. Now we want to tie them all together by painting between the lines and looking at what's going on. So if that sounds helpful, and especially if the first part of your reading resonated, the link to the extended readings is in the description box and the pinned comment. Make sure you select the right group, Sweet Souls, your group 3 of the next big change in this connection reading. So make sure you select the right group. Thank you so much for all of your time, your energy, and your support right here on YouTube. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you, group 3. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey and for supporting what I do here. Until we meet again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Bye.